Shout out. The Connects. Luis Guzman. Don't ever go, never leave my side. Passion's all I have, courage is my drive. And if I lost you, I would lose it all together. I wouldn't have
Welcome to I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman podcast, where we highlight the journey of entrepreneurs, creatives, and business people alike to showcase that every light and dark moment create a beautiful piece of art. This is episode 48. I am your host, Luis Guzman. My two guests today are the definition of couple goals and determination through faith and strength. They both manage and own Team Aggressive, brokered by eXp Realty, and together are a marriage powerhouse in the real estate landscape. They are both known for their producing top skills, motivational speaking background, and NJ Icon Award winners in their own right. A team that's core values is grounded in family, love, God, and the will to do the best they can for their clients who turn into friends, but more importantly, family. A survivor of leukemia who dodged the perils of the street life, left his truck driving gig, and never looked back. Why would he? His wife exemplifies a true ride or die that will always have her husband's back. Together, they are a force in family, marriage, and the most aggressive in the real estate business. A true warrior of a man and a courageous wife that is by his side. They continue to walk in their purpose with God leading the way. The dynamic duo, Harry and Liz Paige, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Lou. I really appreciate that introduction.
Thank you for having
really
us.
heartfelt.
I appreciate both of you, man. I'm excited. Just a quick background to the listeners. Me and Harry have been sending motivational things to us, to ourselves on DMs for as God can last 4 or 5 months, and just kind of motivating, inspiring us. And this has been almost like a year in the making of having you on here to tell your journey and to have, your wife Liz here with you as well. So again, the honor and privilege is all mine. So thank you both for making it.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I always start off the podcast with the same question. Now this is different because I have two people in the room, but we're going to start with Harry and then head over to you. I feel like a moderator here as I finally have two people. I feel cool. This is amazing. Right, guys? So I'll start with you. Who is Harry and Liz Paige? I'll start with you.
So Harry Paige is someone that's very caring, kind. Actually, I'm full of shit. Let me be honest.
You are caring and kind.
Be honest.
I'm a work in progress. I'm in the process of transformation, of trying to be the best version of myself, which is kind and caring. And I don't know. I feel like my brain's not working right now.
Well, you said you do a lot of motivational speaking as well. And
yeah, so for me, what I am, for Harry Paige, I feel like there's so many layers.
It's a lot. And we're going to get into it. So again, this is just a broad stroke, just to have people know who you are.
Harry Paige, I'm a top producing real estate agent.
Yeah.
I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a brother, a son, and just a person just trying to be the best version of themselves. That's who Harry Paige is.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. Liz?
Yeah, so same thing. Elizabeth Paige, and both also real estate agent. Originally grew up in Newark, moved
Brick
to
City.
Linden,
Yep.
grew up there, finished high school there. Real estate it was on my mind, but before that, I did go to college. I was in supply chain management, so I was in corporate for a really long time.
Okay.
Worked corporate for 13 years, and that was tough. That was tough. Being corporate is tough.
It's a tough gig, man.
Yeah.
You got to be fake.
Yeah. And, Harry, he led the way for me to get out of it. He crushed real estate, which I had total faith in him because he has the best personality when it comes to
He's a great guy.
connecting and I don't know, just awesome. And he paved the way for me to get out and join him in real estate. And together we've just done some amazing things, and we've had such an amazing life together doing it.
I think it's very inspiring, and we're going to get into the weeds, right? But I know for a fact, my wife tells me, I love you, and we have a good time together. I have my job, you have yours, but I don't know if I could work side by side with you every day. And I know that is a peak and valley in its own, and we'll get into it. But before we get into that, I'm more interested in how you guys met. Can you tell me the genesis of how Harry met Paige. Sounds like a movie title, right?
Yeah.
How Harry met Liz, and how did this union come together? Because you guys are both from two different total backgrounds, right?
Yeah.
So if you guys can, and again, whoever wants to speak first or second, I'll leave that up to you guys. But let me know.
Yeah, so I met Harry at a friend's house. So I was going through a breakup.
Okay.
And I was probably just like literally hating men at that point.
I think my wife was too.
I was.
It's part of the process.
Yeah, it was. I was just like in my like don't talk to me kind of mode, and I isolated. I was just doing my own thing for a couple months, where I wasn't even going out talking to anybody, and my friend was the one person that I would talk to every once in a while. But I even went time without seeing her, and we lived in the same town.
Wow. Okay.
But that's how much I was isolating at that point. So I was just really focusing on myself, what I wanted, what was important to me, and like going to the gym and just like self-care, really.
Gotcha. And how long ago was this? When did you guys first meet?
Almost 11 years ago.
11,
September.
Yeah.
All right, just to give context, so it's good. We're in 2025, so about 11 years ago. Okay, got it.
So I had got out of a really toxic, bad relationship from there, and the one day where my friend was just like begging me to come out, just like, please come out, just have one drink with me, come over, we don't have to go out. And
Right.
I went to her house. She was making healthy food because, I was trying to, I was like on a health kick at that point.
Right.
So I went there. I went there to spend some time with her and see her. And Harry showed up.
And then what
Harry
happened?
walked through the gates.
And how was that for you when you first saw her and you went to your friend's house? Like, I'm assuming you had a mutual friend, right?
We both, I was friends with her and he was friends with her fiance.
Wow. So out of nowhere, here we are in the same room together. Was there immediate sparks flying of interest, or was it more like, let me just get to know this? I mean, how did that work for you? How did you start talking to Liz, and how did you guys get to know each other?
So my was I just got out of rehab.
Okay. Oh
So
yeah.
I literally just got through a complete transformation of mind, body, and spirit. Like, it was the first time I was completely sober in a long, like, over 15 years.
Wow, man.
And my friend was begging me to come over, like, yo, I'm having a barbecue. I'm not having anyone over doing dumb stuff. It's just gonna be me. I really want to see you. I haven't seen you in a month. I know what you just went through. I was just really nervous to come around anyone at that point. I was like, my younger brother got sober first, so I was kind of just staying with him the whole time. Just wherever he went, I went.
Was that overstimulating for you to be in a place like that where there's alcohol, there's drinks, there's socialism, there's socializing going on? And
In the beginning.
Really?
I avoided people, places, and things. I changed my phone number. I wanted to completely disconnect and really work on myself because I was the real deal alcoholic.
Wow, man.
And it killed my older brother.
So your brother passed away from the alcoholism or the
and drugs. He was drinking. He relapsed. He was drinking. He was 28 years old. He was sniffing cocaine. He was drinking. He took Xanax to come down at like 6 a.m. However he took it. And his heart didn't know what to do. And he had a heart attack in his sleep at 28 and died in his sleep, never even knew it.
I'm sorry, Harry. Jeez. I mean, I know you've spoken about that. I just didn't know the severity of how it, transpired. And I'm sorry, man. I didn't know that to the detail you explained it. How when that happened with your brother, did that put you into a spiral into becoming addicted to drugs and alcohol?
No, I was already there. I was an alcoholic from an early age. Like,
Okay.
as soon as I picked up in my teens, alcoholism is a disease, and it runs in my family on both sides. And it started with alcohol. And then when I went through leukemia at 19, then I got opened up to, I prided myself that I didn't drink. Because
Right.
from around my way, if you drank, you're a man, you don't mess with drugs, keep your nose clean, you're strong.
And you're Rahway. This is talking about Rahway, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Born in Elizabeth, raised in Rahway. And, for me, it was like, I believe that alcohol is not a drug. And then when I went through leukemia, I got opened up to pain meds. And I have an addictive personality. So it went both of them together after that. I started, with the pills after leukemia. And, it's something that, grabbed a hold of me for a long time.
But then you were, was it your own volition to go to rehab, or was that your family or friends telling you, listen, you got to go to rehab?
So it was a little bit of both. I ended up having a daughter. I thought I couldn't have kids because I had a bone marrow transplant. So the chemo, after the second round, they sent me to the sperm bank. They said there's nothing to save. It's all no good. So at 19 years old, you're a kid.
Yeah.
My boys ain't swimming laps today. You know, like that was my way of, I didn't know how to express myself when I was younger. And that was my way of being uncomfortable in the situation. But I just found out I couldn't have kids. So deep down inside of me, I never understood what that did to me. It really made me feel like I always wanted to have kids, even from a young age, like a family. It's something I always wanted. So then they hit me with the third round of chemo. I went from 260 pounds to 160 pounds in 3 months.
Wow.
And I was the first bone marrow transplant from start to finish at Robert Wood Johnson in New Brunswick.
Wow.
So I gave up the alcohol. The first time is when I was looking at 5 years in Jamesburg. I was 15. I caught some charges.
15 years old? What the heck did you do?
Aggravated assault. I got jumped by a group of guys. I saw one of the guys a week later. I hit him. I knocked him out. But when he fell, he hit his head on the pavement, which caused a blood clot on the brain. So they had to do surgery. I didn't want him to get hurt like that. But I got jumped. I want you to tell you something too. I had braces. My braces are all messed up.
You're young too. You're at 15 years old. Your brain is not fully developed as a man. I mean, women, they tend to get more mature faster than a guy's brain. But at 15, it's like a rite of passage to knock somebody out, especially where we come from.
Yeah.
So don't put too much blame on yourself. You were just not really.
I was a product of my environment.
Yeah. Product of your environment. You thought you were doing the right thing. The bravo macho thing. Ego is involved, and you know, when ego is involved, common sense gets taken out of it.
Justified anger. I still struggle with it.
You still, this is something from
absolutely. I still struggle with justified anger, with checking people. Like where I grew up in the era, like if you carried yourself a certain way, I'm gonna make sure that you're true to that.
Yeah,
you know, you're talking tough. Lou, let's step outside, see if you still carry that same weight, or you change when you get outside. Like I didn't mean that, you know, and I'm doing a lot better with that stuff, you know, like I was a different person. And that's just like, if I'm going to be in that environment, whatever I'm going to be, I want to be good at it. So I became like the white boy around the way where I was from, the white boy that'll knock you out from the projects to the good side of town. Wow, that was my reputation. And I thought that was something to be proud of because I didn't have anything else going for me. You know, alcohol robbed me of being me authentically from 9th grade on. Like I stopped playing sports. I was the guy hanging out in the corner. I was driving cars to Harlem to pick up weed at 15. You know, like it changed everything. It robbed me of who I was to grow mentally, everything.
The beauty of it, though, is that you're here today talking about it. And I know for a fact there's somebody listening that is probably going through something similar. And to see you here as a successful entrepreneur with your wife side by side, which is a beautiful thing of its own. Brother, you're doing the Lord's work, and you are also an exemplified example of what it means to not be a product of your environment and to push through whatever it is that was given to you. Every hand that you're given, you don't have to play it. You can always reshuffle. And you chose to reshuffle your hand, which I think is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
As a man right now, you stand in front of me, from what I see, healed, more mature, more understanding, more caring. And you know what? You're also rigid, but what man isn't rigid? We are all rigid in our own rights. We all struggle with anger. We all struggle with wanting to be the best that we can. We struggle with doubt. We struggle with all these things. But the fact that you're doing the work and you're actually making, you know, even some days it could be a microcosm of a step. Some days it could be a leap. But little by little, you and your wife by your side are pushing through. And that's a very admirable thing.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful thing to hear, man.
Yeah.
And to see what you've come through. I mean, I want to ask Liz this now because I just got hit with a lot in 2 minutes. Like, whoa, you don't see this coming. You just see this attractive 6'2" man walking into a party. And what is your thoughts as you're meeting this person for the first time?
Well, I think your friend told you something about me, right?
Yeah, I think, you know, once we initially met, we were introduced, and what my friend said was like, hey, you know, Harry's a really nice guy. He's with his daughter a lot. He just fights a lot. I was like,
what kind of dichotomy is that? You know, he fights a lot, but he's a nice guy.
And at that time, I was still like, oh, okay, he fights a lot. Like, didn't even like.
It didn't go. It went over your head. Yeah,
it went over my head, and I think like the one thing I heard was like, oh, he's with his daughter a lot, so he sounds like a nice, like a good dad.
Gotcha.
You know, somebody who's present, which was something that I was missing as far as for my child.
Got it.
So I was like, oh, okay, like that's a good quality. That's ideal. You know what I mean? So, because not that I was really looking for anyone, but if I were to be looking for someone, like I wanted somebody who's gonna be like a good parent and
Right.
just a good, kind-hearted person.
Gotcha. What was that first date like?
So, like, I kind of went off topic with what you asked.
No, but that's okay. We're going to go everywhere. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
What I was going to say was when I walked through that gate, that was like after drugs and alcohol, suspended sentences for Jamesburg, leukemia, and then I caught another charge when I was 23, robbery, all these different things. So when I walked through that gate and I met her, I was a completely different guy than, not fully transformed yet, but like sober, sound of mind. And I walked through, so I just came out of a bad breakup too.
Wow.
With my daughter's mom.
Jeepers. Okay.
So the truth is that I was praying to God, like in rehab, you know, put the right woman in my life. I knew I wanted to settle down. I wanted to be in a relationship. And when I walked through the gate, I seen her, and my friend told me, he's like, I'm gonna have, Crystal's gonna have her friend over, and I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So I walked through the gate and I see her, and she had like a nice tan, she had green eyes, you know, and I think when I went up to her, you correct me if I'm wrong, I said, hi, I'm Harry, and I'm single.
Hi, my name is Harry. I'm single. That was his first line.
Still running game. Fresh out of rehab with the game.
She was like, yo, this guy's corny as hell.
Here we go. I was like, I didn't want no men, and here we go with the cheesy line,
God.
you know, but it was pretty funny.
That was fun. Hey, it worked, right? Look where you're sitting here today, right?
Well, I think what worked is when after that it started to rain outside, so we moved upstairs to inside.
Yeah. And
then we started to conversate a little bit deeper, and then she had shared that I shared that I had went through leukemia and yada, yada, yada. I wasn't telling her about rehab or none of that stuff yet. I just said, you know, I've been through some stuff in my life. And then you got a little bit teary-eyed, no?
Yeah, I think, you know, he was asking me questions, just coming out of curiosity to know a little bit about me. And he was asking me, like, do I have any kids? And he shared about his daughter, how old she was. So our kids were very close in age. I think Julian was like 7 and Ryan was 4 or something like that. So they're small.
Right.
And then he was, what did you? Oh yeah, you were asking if I had any brothers and sisters. I was like, I have an older sister and I had an older brother, but he passed away from cancer. And then that's where Harry was like, oh wow. He's like, I'm a cancer survivor. And I think that's where that, I don't want to call it like a spark, but it was almost, it kind of was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh wow, like he had cancer. I understand.
Commonality, yeah.
I think
She was like, maybe there's some substance to this guy that just came up and said, oh, Harry, I'm single. Maybe he's not just a douchebag, you know what I mean? That's what I think transpired.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, okay, I don't know what it was.
I was just being a wise guy, like how I came in here, I joke around a little bit.
Yeah.
If you don't know me, it could be, you know, and first impressions are everything. Maybe she's like, man, this guy's a clown. But I was just clowning around. I'm not a clown.
Yeah,
I like to just joke a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think that's something like in this era today, and I get it because we're, you know, like cracking jokes and ranking on people. If you do that today in 2025, it's like you'll get canceled, right? But when we grew up, it's like you had to come with your jokes ready. You could, you know. So I know you're,
or at least know how to fight.
At least either know how to fight or know how to crack.
I don't know a next joke for that, but step outside now. You're about to get whooped.
Yeah.
But you gotta have like, and I going back to the point I'm making with you kind of like breaking the ice, so to speak. You were able to provide like a soft landing for her to really get to know you because, oh, cheesy joke, he's single, his name is Harry. But that kind of opened into this beautiful conversation of, oh my God, there's a lot of human to this guy.
Well, when he said I'm a cancer survivor, and I just, in my mind, I just replayed what happened with my brother and how much he went through and how much he suffered. And I just kind of was like, oh, wow, like he must have been through a lot of shit because cancer is no joke.
Oh my God, no.
So that's where I had a lot of like empathy in that moment. Like, okay, he may have had it rough and, you know.
Yeah. And he's
I was open to having
open.
more conversation with him after he said that versus being closed off and being like, okay, peace out.
Yeah, and then you got her.
Well, the first phone call was like where like I had God was a big part of my life, is what I learned in rehab. Like you got to get plugged into a higher power. So I had no problem with the word God or God in general. So, you know, a part of recovery is honesty, rigorous honesty. I mean, it's like being honest even when you don't want to.
Yeah.
And for small stuff. So the first conversation that I had with her, she didn't know I was in recovery. And she was like, hey, you want to do dinner and drinks? And I was so nervous. I was like, damn, she said drinks. I'm like, yeah, I don't drink. Like, you know what I mean? Like that, like nervous.
Yeah.
My response wasn't even smooth. Like,
right.
No, I don't drink.
And what did you say to that?
And I think I was just like, okay, no problem. It's like, I don't know if I just say, hey, just out of curiosity, like, are you in recovery?
She did. Wow. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I just met some chick. I was in rehab for a month. Like, I'm about to ruin a shot here. And I swear to you, man, it was like God was working. God will do for you what you can't do for yourself, but he won't do what you can. So he literally came right through me. He was like, yeah, I'm in recovery. It comes before my daughter, you, anyone else.
Wow, man. It's such a powerful
That's not a response that I normally do.
No, but that's such a powerful story because I do believe that, you know, God plays a big part in the steps and journeys that he already knows where you're going to end up at. But when he throws you, like, you know, they call it a meatball in baseball. It's like a pitch that's really easy to hit. This was a really easy meatball for you that you were aware of it. And you're like, okay, God, you're giving me a woman that understands my situation, that I can blend with, be common with, and build a life with. And sometimes we miss the mark because it could be ego, it could be nervousness, it could be addiction, it could be, let me go back to what makes me feel comfortable. Let me go have a drink, let me have a blunt, and let me forget about this beautiful thing that God has put in front of me. But for you to step into your purpose in relationship because of the praying and because of the rehab, how powerful was that for you at the moment? In real time.
I was just like, I couldn't believe the way I was responding, but it also started earlier in rehab too. Like, God's got a sense of humor. I hated cops, but I only didn't like cops because I was always getting in trouble. It was, you know, I stopped getting in trouble. I like cops. Some of my best friend is a captain, right? So, but at the time in rehab, my bunkie or whatever you want to call him, roommate, was a cop. And I was telling him a story about how I was doing 120 miles an hour. And when I walked away, my mind was like, bro, you were doing like 105. And I went back to him. I was like, yo, Lee, I was doing 105 miles an hour. Like God started like, stop lying about stuff, bro. Yeah. Even though it's just the thing, we were juicing up the story, I didn't realize how I juiced up so many stories. So I went back, I was like, yo, I was doing like 105, I wasn't doing 120. He was like, he looked dead at me, I'll never forget this. He's like, I don't give a shit. But I did.
But you cared, yeah.
I cared. Even when I got out, I went to the mall. I was like, yeah, I work at the mall. When they were ringing up pretzels, they're like, oh, 20% off. And I was like, wait. I don't work in the mall. I'm lying. And she looked at me like, yo, what the heck? Like, I started practicing rigorous honesty, being honest in all my affairs.
Why did you lie to begin with? Was that a learned behavior?
Yeah, I think you
was
know.
Was it your father, your mother, anybody in your past that showed you that?
No, my father was the complete opposite. I think it was a product of my environment. You saw lying all the time, stealing in the streets, lying about stuff, always souping up a story, making it a little bit juicier, even though the trout you caught was this big. Yo, it was like this big. You know, like everything. I didn't realize how much I added stuff to stories. So I stopped doing that.
Yeah, and it's also it's two things, right? And again, I've dealt with this in therapy because I was also, you know, trained as a young man to get over, because that's all you learn growing up in the urban society in the hood. It's like, oh, if someone wants to pay me $20 for something that's worth $5, I'm going to say yes.
Exactly.
And they don't know any wiser. But the older you get, the A word becomes very apparent in your life, accountability. And you got to really look at yourself. And this is what therapy teaches you. You got to look in the mirror and see this disgusting person that you despise and you hate, but you got to also hug that person that you love so much and say, it's okay now. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to take you to the next level. So little Harry, that's 7 years old, that was dealing with whatever he was dealing with, Harry now in his mid-30s, I don't know how old you are, now he tells his 7-year-old, or with Liz, your 7-year-old, I got you. nothing's going to happen.
So I had this guy that was a mentor to me, and he was a smooth, older black dude. He mentored me for a little while. He was from Plainfield. And he told me, I didn't understand it at the time. He said, one day you're going to have to go and give that little boy Harry a hug.
Whoa.
And console him. I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about, man? This guy's weird as hell. But he was cool. He gave me a lot of jewels. I understand today what he meant. And I think Mel Gibson said, hug the cactus. They call it hugging of the cactus.
I remember that interview, yes.
So like that kid it was my winning formula to where I was from. Honestly, a lot of the white kids were soft. I wasn't. So I was fighting from an early age, but enjoyed it. I didn't know how to express myself. Like I was sexually molested at 4. So if I was ever challenged by a male figure, I reacted violently because I was like, if I don't, then I'm gay. I have nothing wrong with gay people. I'm not. So I just thought that I had to do that. So from an early age, I created like the guy who's she said in the beginning, he's very nice, but he fights. That's the reason why, is because I couldn't be nice in my environment. That was a weakness. So it was like, okay, I'm going to be violent then. I'll be violent. And if anyone ever tests me, then I'm going to back them down immediately. And that's still a process of hugging that kid inside of me today that I don't need you anymore. I appreciate all you did as a young age. I'm not in that environment anymore. I'm a businessman. I'm a father. Like sometimes when I get in road rage, she's like, Harry, chill out. We got a business. And I'm like, I just still have that automatic weapon that where it was, you know, it's a liability now, but before it was like an asset.
Do you think that, you know, you said about being molested at 4, is that you being so violent in your 20s and late teens, do you think that's a trauma response to what you went through at a 4-year-old and as a 4-year-old?
I think that's just added gasoline to the fire. Like in my environment, we were fighting from a young age anyway, and I was into wrestling. So my dad was our wrestling coach. So, you know, we were a part of like things that were very physical. So we were comfortable being physical.
Yeah. But it was also something that kind of protected you from the little boy that was hurt. It was like a shield.
I think I just felt like I had something to prove. I wasn't working. I was selling drugs at that, you know, from a young age too. Weed and all that stuff, and I don't even want to go into the other stuff, but you might as well, whatever you're at, you might as well get good at it. So like I'm usually all in. I'm an all or nothing. Today I'm trying to be in the middle, but that's the way it was. Like I was all in on that.
I correct me if I'm wrong, Liz. I want to get your take on this because you know this man better than anybody. I hear a lot of pain in that story, right? Can you talk about the pain you've seen Harry go through as being his wife and, you know, before that girlfriend and getting to know him? And do you feel like that pain has shaped him to be the better man that he is today?
100%. I think he's definitely learned, you know, going through all that pain has built him to the strong person that he is today. He's very strong. He takes no crap, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I understand where he goes into road rage a little bit better because I've done a little bit of work to understand addiction better and what that means, right? What is childhood trauma? What does that mean, you know?
Right.
To understand him, even myself, you know what I mean? We all have a little trauma of things,
Absolutely.
you know, like
Absolutely.
shit happens.
Yeah.
And just to understand what trauma and how that impacts us as adults and our behaviors. So when he has his moments of anger or rage, I can be a little bit more empathetic with it and understand where it's coming from. Just let him have his moment, then we can talk about it. But a lot of it comes from like him. He doesn't want to be taken advantage of. He doesn't want to be disrespected. And if he feels that that's what's happening, then that's where it comes out. Because from his childhood trauma, you know what I mean? Being taken advantage of a child, you know, or being disrespected, you know, as a boy just living in an urban area, you had to have a certain personality and a persona so that you don't get picked on, you know, or anything like that. And I get that growing up in Newark, you know, like it wasn't like the worst area, but I still had to have a certain attitude too. I couldn't be too nice, but I didn't want to be too mean either because I'm just not a mean person. It's not who I am. So for me, what worked for me was to just be very neutral and not have, you know, be able to swing, you know, my personality depending on who I was in front of.
Understood. That's
so thankfully I was never like too skinny or too fat. So I was always just tall.
Right.
And like, you know, where I never got picked on, you know, so I didn't have.
She got hands though.
You know,
I heard from her friend she handles somebody.
You know, yeah, but I
my wife got hands too. I know they carry themselves a certain way.
It's a certain. That's what it is. It's a certain way, and I can go to 0 to 100, but it takes a lot
to get you
for
there.
me to get to. Like if you got me to 100, it's not good.
It's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah, gotcha.
I get her to
even
100.
Harry
I get her
hasn't.
to 100.
Harry has not seen my 100. He hasn't had it. He hasn't experienced it.
I don't want that smoke.
He doesn't want it.
No. Yeah. No,
it's really like, you know, it's not
the
good.
next level. Yeah. And I think, you know, talking about what you're saying, there is some level of PTSD that we all have within ourselves. And that PTSD is heightened when the child feels threatened, right? So Sigmund and Freud, like their whole theory is, you know, the Freudian system is about the id, the superego, and the adult ego. The id is the kid. It's the, you know, I want to go, go play on the swing. As an adult, I want to smoke a half ounce of weed. That's like the id. That's like the things that the kid wants to do. And then the adult ego and the super ego have to kind of compartmentalize and be like a seesaw for the kid and say, no, we need to go sell this house. We need to go pay our mortgage. And then we can go to Aruba. Do you know what I mean? That's like the ultimate, but your id is so hurt, the little kid, because of the disrespect, because of all the pain and all the, making shame and jokes, that as an adult, your reaction is to just be impulsive.
Yeah.
But it's a trauma response to the PTSD you've been through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So understanding that is important, because as a kid, yeah, you'll get spanked or you'll get beat up, in the yard or whatever. But as an adult, you can get arrested, you could die. And, you have, like you said, you were speeding, you have a business, you got to, have your wife here, you have your children. There's so much in line right now. You got to keep that id, that child, in check by understanding who you are today.
Yeah, no. And I think it's just understanding that kid to a degree will always be a part of me.
Yes.
It's just letting him know I don't need you anymore. I appreciate you for everything you've done, but I got it from here. And for me, you can ask my wife, every day I get up, I don't skip on prayer, meditation, self-reflection. I'm constantly in self-growth. I'm always trying to be of service to others. I love speaking at the rehabs. I mentor other guys. I didn't share about those things when I first got into real estate. I did like, who is Harry? I was like, Lou, that was my broker's name. Like, I want to leave that out. It's a huge part of who I am. It's a huge part that makes me a better man by getting out of myself and trying to be of service to others. But like, just understanding, always taking inventory of myself every day where I came up short, apologize to my wife. And I tell her all the time, listen, I know like I apologize for the same things over and over, but understand I'm doing the best that I can. Like we're both understand that we're hugging each other's inner kid and helping each other grow. That like, I got to help her and hug her, when she's trying to heal old wounds or things from her past. We do it for each other. I've been doing it for a long time. She's really starting to get into it more than ever in the last year. And I'm proud of her that, she's looking inwards on what she needs to heal, because I'm like, if we're going to have deep conversations, I can't have deep conversations with someone unless they have inventory of themselves.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just going to say things that you didn't have an experience. Mm-hmm. Right. And I tell her all the time, I know a lot of stuff, but practicing and putting it in use is a whole different thing. The biggest degrees of separation is from head to heart. So I know a lot of stuff, but actually living it is a different thing. Like we could be kumbaya, like here, I back out of here and I get cut off. Someone's like talking trash like that. That's where the work is done. Or when you get home from work and your kids and you just had a deal die. We had 3 in July, right? Mm-hmm. For example, right? And my daughter just like, Dad, look at me. I'm going to be a ballerina. And she's spinning. But my mind is spinning because how are we going to pay the bills this month? Right? So I'm like, Olivia, I'm in the middle of doing something.
Yeah.
The self-awareness helps me where sometimes I still mess up. An example of that is like, I remember her spinning. I had a deal going on. I'm like, Olivia, not right now. And she went to bed and I went in her room. I said, Olivia, I was wrong for that, right? That's the father I am today. My other daughter, she didn't get that father. Where I remember the one night before she got into real estate, I'm like, Liz, I got this deal going on. This is like 9 or 10 o'clock at night. People that think real estate is easy, they don't understand.
24-hour gig.
Yeah, the people that like stay home mom that got in it, or someone those are not the realtors that I'm cut from, and I'll chew you up on negotiations. So my other daughter got the father that never even got a chance to tell her, because the one night she kept saying, hey, Ryan wants a bedtime story. Ryan wants a bedtime story. I'm like, just hold on a second. I got to finish this. By the time I finished, she was like, just don't even worry about it. Ryan fell asleep. Those girls got 2 different fathers.
Yeah.
I'm a 42-year-old man that's like, I'm just starting to mature in my late 30s. I didn't really mature as a kid. You know, I was a basic meathead. You did something disrespectful, step outside, Lil. Yeah. Or if it was something where I didn't see you in person, when I see you, just know what time it is. Like, that's the era I came from. I had no maturity.
Yeah, yeah. And
nothing.
Now,
and I wasn't raised like that. I come from good parents.
Yeah. It's just, you know, there's a level of ignorance that you were exposed to, and that ignorance kind of took shape, right? And now in your early 40s, see, the biggest battle is understanding it, right? You have to kind of look at, like I told you earlier, look at yourself and awareness. But then there's also so much lip service that you can do. And I'm going to get to the point he was making about you. I'll get there in a minute, about, you know, the stuff you had to kind of hold yourself accountable for. But, you know, there's just so much lip service you could keep telling yourself until you actually have to just admit, I have a problem, or I'm wrong, and I have to change my ways, because if not, I'm going to lose a lot of people that love me, because who wants to be around somebody like that? It's just, who wants to be around somebody that does so bad and never admits it? That's like the worst type of quality of person you could be around. You know what I mean? And something I try to always lean into is something new. And, you know, maybe this, because I see a lot of you and me as far as like how we deal with our anger and our maturity. I lean into the hard. I lean into the hardest things. I'm going on vacation in 2 weeks. You're like my 6th podcast in a week and a half. But I'm going to do it, and I'm going to sell a bunch of fences too. And I'm going to take my wife out to dinner. And I'm going to wake up at 3:30 and go to the gym. And I'm going to preach. Yeah, but that's what I'm going to do, because I love going for whatever is the hardest thing to do, because at the end of the day, there's a level of accomplishment.
You're an entrepreneur, bro.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and then
you're a lion that goes for a hunt.
Yes, and you know what? The satisfying moment is going to be sitting on that beach with a tequila in my hand and not have a regret that I didn't give it all I got.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Where are you going on vacation?
Bahamas.
We're going to Aruba. Yeah. I thought maybe we would see
We've
you
done
there. We missed
Aruba.
each other.
I told you about this. I've done Aruba like in the last 2 years, like 3 or 4 times.
It's amazing, right?
So we love it, but it's like we had our honeymoon there. But my wife is like, we just need a change of scenery.
Get it?
Because vacation is a change of scenery, but if you go to the same place every year, it's no longer a change of scenery.
Yeah.
So now we want to do something totally different. So that's why we work so hard. That's why you guys work so hard, to enjoy those moments with your family.
Absolutely.
But putting the gas down all the way on the pedal is needed, but you got to have that responsibility. And like you said, going back to your daughter and saying, good night, I'm sorry, I should. Mark Twain has a beautiful quote that I always live by. You're never wrong for doing the right thing. So no matter what, even if you're wrong in the moment, even if you're wrong in the moment, you go back and you apologize. And you go back to the A word, accountability. That's a big thing. And I think that's what strikes growth in anybody's life. Now, Liz, let's talk about your accountability. What were you fighting that you weren't ready to admit, and now you're kind of working through? If you could share.
Now let's get deep.
She's like, shoot, I thought it was gonna be Harry.
What was I fighting? I think I was fighting for, you know, I'm just going through my stuff, and for some reason, and I haven't really dug into why, but I was really fighting for love.
Okay.
That's kind of like my thing. It's like love and feeling abandoned and betrayal. And those are kind of like my pinpoint of like trauma issues.
Gotcha.
So that's like, that comes up a lot.
Got it.
That comes up a lot for me. In my behaviors
In your
is like, I
behavior,
feel like I'm going to be betrayed, or I'm going to be abandoned, or
PTSD.
you know,
it's the
so
same
those
thing.
are kind of like the root causes of things that
Gotcha.
come up for me.
And how do you guys work through that as a married couple?
I think it just comes down to having a conversation. I think we're learning that now with each other, like what is the trauma, and how does that come out? You know what I mean? Because that's the trauma, but it comes out in a different way, where his is anger, right? But why is he angry?
Exactly.
Like his
Nailed
is anger, but So
And
I know when
yours
he's
is-
angry, I know he's
She shuts
feeling.
down.
She shuts
I
down.
should
Quiet.
shut down,
That's
and I
my
know that's
life.
not a good thing. So I'm
Yeah.
working on expressing, right? So that's what I'm working on. Is if he did something that upset me, I have to tell him, because or else he doesn't know. Because my thing is, I shut down and I'm just like, I don't want to talk, leave me alone, or I isolate,
As
and
a-
that's just my thing.
As a young girl, were you ever put in a fight or flight response situation?
I have been in some situations that weren't good.
Because that's a direct, that's like the direct response is
Correlation.
shutting down. Correlation is shutting
and
down.
it was shut down,
Yeah.
right? So not having a safe space
Yes.
to talk about what happened. So I
Got it.
didn't have that for whatever the reason was, right? And that's another thing, right? It's like I didn't feel heard, or I didn't have the safe space to talk about the things that happened.
Got it.
So I'm trying to find that now to talk about things. So if I feel something, even if it's real or not,
Mm-hmm.
right? If he did something and I'm upset, I should be able to feel safe enough to express to him, hey, you did this or you said this and this is how I feel, right?
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
for him to just acknowledge, or let's just talk about it, right? It's not, and it might not it be a fake feeling because it's coming from somewhere within.
Yes, correct.
And it wasn't even his intention to make me feel that way, but whatever it was, I did.
And were you, as a young girl, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, 6, like put in situations where you had to be an adult versus a kid?
I had siblings, but they were much older.
Okay, so you
right.
were the
So
young one.
I was the youngest, so I was almost like an only child, right? My brother, I think he was like 18 or 19 when I was born. And then my sister was
wow.
like
Okay.
13. So by the time, she took care of me a lot. My mom worked and she babysat. So she did a lot when I was growing up. But eventually, I think at 16, she moved back to Brazil. She moved back to Brazil and she stayed there for a couple years. So again, I was alone with like my parents and stuff like that and babysitters or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was just an only child. So I didn't
Gotcha.
have anybody to really play with. They were working. So I was just like wherever, like just running around.
She
Like
listened to Mariah Carey with
didn't
a comb
have-
in her hand singing.
I feel like the
Whatever.
supervision wasn't really there. Like I didn't have helicopter parents. But again, back then, like who was a helicopter
Correct,
parent?
yeah.
Honestly,
But the little girl
What the
in you
hell is a
probably
helicopter
won't-
parent?
Yeah, they just you
we're
can't
like
even walk
we know
down the
where
street,
Olivia
right?
is,
Yeah.
like all the time. We always know where she's
Okay.
at.
I never heard that before.
Like
Yeah.
we just know where she's at. Like kids have phones now. Like I didn't have a phone when I
Yeah,
was
we
13.
were
I had a
just
beeper,
free,
but
like, yeah,
still,
just,
like
yeah, exactly.
know.
But you think a lot of that is like your inner child just wanting some love from your parents that you never got fully?
I think I needed more supervision
Because you were kind
than
of
what
left
I
to your
had.
devices.
I think I was just like, yeah.
Were you like a latchkey kid? Like you had your key to your house from school, you just go.
We
and-
didn't even lock the doors.
Wow.
Like it was
Oh,
just
wow.
the doors, the gate was always open.
What
It was
part
just
of
like
Newark was
come in
this?
and out. Like I know. That's why I'm like, I look back now, I'm like, there's no freaking way.
Your dad probably had.
I would let my daughter today at like 10 years old ride her bike wherever. I don't know. I couldn't see it now.
This girl was
Meanwhile,
rollerblading down on Ferry
we
Street.
live
Oh,
right
yeah.
there by Hawkins, like, and it was just Hawkins. Like, we already know that's not the best area.
Yeah. But it was your environment, and you were just like, hey, it is what it is.
I don't think
I'm
my
not-
parents really knew any better either, you
Wow.
know, and
But
just
again,
up to no good.
yeah. But now, you don't know what you don't know till you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now, as you guys being parents together and married, I mean, the level of awareness being a father and being a mother is a lot different than how
Yeah.
you guys were raised, right?
Yeah.
And then I
Well,
think,
I feel like my parents, I used to say that they could have did a better job, but I never looked at, and that was years ago. And me and my younger brother used to get in arguments because he didn't feel the same way. But I also you have to look at the cards they were dealt, where they come from. My father lost his father at 4, triggered his mother's schizophrenia. She went to a psych ward. He was adopted by his grandmother. I'm not going to get into other things, but not good things happen from there that my father doesn't want me to speak about.
Right.
And then my mother, her father left my grandfather, he was an alcoholic, left my grandmother she was raising 6 kids on her own. She was burned 85% of her body. My mom at 18 had to take care of all of her siblings. So like I have to look at the background, like give these people credit. Cause if I was dealt those cards, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Whoa.
I couldn't tie your shoes. And my dad became our wrestling coach. I watched that guy. That's where I learned service work on how to be there for others. I really did. And my dad would pick up kids from the projects, buy them wrestling sneakers, was just a really good coach. You know, I forgot certain things until people brought it up on social media. They're like, your dad commanded respect without raising his voice. My man blew the whistle. Everyone was at attention. But my dad also he would wrestle with you. He was in excellent shape. He got up at 4 or 3:30 a.m. before he went and drove a truck for 12 hours a day, and then would get off that 12-hour job and then go run a rec wrestling in Rahway.
Wow.
There's kids today that, you know, I remember one kid in particular we found out wrote an article on my father of like he was his father figure. I know that meant a lot to my dad. And my dad is cut from a cloth that doesn't exist anymore. And I'm trying to be like my father. The guy who I would argue all the time, want to be just like him. He didn't look for a pat on the back. He didn't want you to say, you know, have Luis say you did a great job or whatever. He didn't need any of that. He didn't want the recognition. He wanted to stay in the dark. He didn't want the limelight. You know, like he just genuinely, I feel like he took what he went through, this is just my opinion,
right,
of not having a father and wanted to try to be a father figure to a lot of kids in the community, and he did.
I mean, like Bob Marley said, you know, it's not about how much money you make in this life. It's about whose lives you affected and touched. And I think that's what your dad has done. And I think you are carrying that torch with the motivational speaking, with, you know, talking to kids, understanding the trouble of living bad and doing bad things, because you've been there. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people can talk about it, but they have to actually have done it to really have some type of like skin in the game.
So with that, I would say your story has to have depth and weight. Mm-hmm. In order to get someone to be like, all right, this guy's he knows around the way, or he knows this, he has experience, because you talk it. Your story has to have depth and weight to win someone over.
Correct. Because if not, there's a lifeless, it's hollow, and there's no life in it. You're not going to get any wings out of it. So you really walking the walk, but then talking the talk as far as like what you're doing now today to inspire others, I think it's well received because they know that you're not lying about anything. You're being very straight up about, this is what I've been through. This is my history. I'm a work in progress, and every day I get better. But if I'm going to do one thing in this life, as we are as Christians, is to serve and to make sure that we are doing the right thing as human beings every day to please God. And the way you please God is by be of service to others. That's one thing that I try every day to do, is to be of service. Because if I think of it very microscopic, very myopic, I'll say, listen, you know what? Who am I if this person doesn't want to do the podcast? Who am I? I'm nobody. It doesn't matter. I'm of service here. So right now, in having this conversation with you guys, who am I? No, I'm in service to you two, to have people listen to what you've been through so that you can spark change in somebody else's life. Because I think the stories here that we're having are very powerful, you know? How proud are you of him?
Super proud.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you tell me a moment that you can share that made you look at Harry in a different light? Not negative, but as positive. Like, oh my God, wow. This is the man I married.
I think it's just, there's so many stories, and what I'm proud of is like, we've gone through tough times. We've gone through the tough times, but he always like stops, looks at what's going on, and goes back to his beliefs. And like, we come out of it every single time. Yeah. And that's what it is. Like, he's like, I guess like relentless. You know what I mean? Like, takes no for an answer. Yeah. Things go wrong, and he keeps pushing through. And that's great. Like, he never gives up.
I love that. That's a beautiful answer.
Where I would have threw my hands up and be like, I'm done.
Well,
I quit mentally a few times.
I quit. And he doesn't. Like, I know he probably does mentally, but he comes out of it.
How proud are you of her? Oh, go ahead.
This last year was very difficult. You know, I had multiple surgeries. I think a lot of after effects of my bone marrow transplant. You know, I received high chemos that you don't receive unless you're getting a transplant. So, you know, I had my entire left side. First, I had my herniated disc. So the last 2 years, just been health issues, a domino effect. First, it was my back. Then I had an umbilical hernia repair on my stomach. So I was down for 2 months, saw that coming. In between that, I was getting hospitalized for diverticulitis.
What is that?
It's an infection on your intestine. It's a pocket. And when it becomes infected, if you don't check it, if it ruptures, you can go septic and die. So it's real serious. Or if they have to do the surgery when you're infected, you're getting a bag, and that's where you're going to poop on the bag. So I kept getting hospitalized for that. Meanwhile, through that, you know, as realtors, we work through it all. Everyone's like, listen, you know, when you're selling a house, that's your biggest financial decision.
It's no joke.
So they want your time. So I worked through that entirely, through the hospitalizations. That the second one I didn't see coming. I didn't want to have my intestine removed. That was a major surgery. But when they went, they were like, oh, we're just going to remove part of this on the bottom and the top. You know, it was supposed to be a 3-hour surgery. I was in there for 8.5 hours. My whole left side was ruined. They had to pull from my right side of my intestine, pull it all the way over to the left side and staple it to my rectum. And she's trying to get in and she couldn't get in. And it was horrific.
Yeah, it was scary.
Oh my Lord. I can imagine.
The pain was unbearable. And I think my proudest moment of Liz is just handling everything while I was in the hospital.
Wow.
I was down. I was down last year a lot. I wasn't there mentally. I wanted to check out a lot. Like, yeah, just take me, bro. Like, I fought my whole life. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I get caught in this whirlwind, right? Like, I'm like, yo, I got sexually molested at 4, diagnosed with leukemia at 19, lost my brother at 23. I'm 42. I'm struggling with all these issues, these health issues. I still got to run the business. No one gives a shit that you have these going on. I don't care what anyone says. They don't.
Yeah.
And then it's the medical industry, like, on top of that, which is, like, super difficult.
I was being misdiagnosed. I was being treated like, you know, like, oh, we don't see anything on the MRI. This guy's just here for pain meds. And it's like, the surgeon, when he went in, he's like, bro, your entire left side is ruined. It didn't show on that. Wow. So, like, you know, the healthcare system in our, I'm sorry to say it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks, bro. Not only that, like, they know how to bill you right. They don't know how to diagnose you right. I was misdiagnosed with leukemia by like 5 different doctors. You know, by the time I figured things out, I was stage 4. Like, they're like, we need to start chemo now, test your siblings, and you need to have a bone marrow transplant or you're going to die, period. So, like, there was PTSD from that stuff, too, that I share with my wife, that, like, my whole life was fight or flight. That's why I'm so used to, like, oh, let's just go. Let's rock and roll. Like, I'm learning to just, like, relax, take it easy.
Yeah.
I don't need to have all the answers. God knows what is best. I don't need to figure things out except do the next right thing and be as honest as possible. And, you know, my proudest moment is, like, with all the stuff that life threw at us in the last year, difficult clients, deals dying, health issues, hospitalizations, she just always was there for me. I felt like she was stronger than me because she's like, I feel like it's easier to be in a hospital on pain meds than to be at home, take care of the kids and deal with the clients. She was juggling everything. Like, you know, it was a circus, man.
Wow, man. That's inspiring to hear because I'm a big believer, and you know this too, if you know you're a believer, is that the man is the leader and the wife is the helper. And you have been nothing but just A++ as far as like what a wife's role is in the household. And that only pushes a man to go further because he sees the woman that he's with is like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Like no man, and it's something that, you know, I in my own personal life, like with my wife, she'll tell me, listen, babe, it's always gonna be okay. Like no matter what, like we have each other. And, you know, she'll hold my hand and she'll give me that reassurance because I'm like Harry. I will go 0 to 100. Oh my God, this has to, I'm thinking 6 months down the line. Or, you know, I lost a deal, or, you know, we got to refund this much amount because they weren't happy with the final product. And, you know, this guy's complaining about this and that.
And you want to make everyone happy. Like if you're genuinely a good businessman, you want to make everyone happy, but that's also too, like, I think you're delusional. Not everyone's going to be happy. You just do the best that you can. And whatever the outcome is, if someone's not happy, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I busted my chops 7 days a week for you. Yeah, period. We do that even with clients that don't treat us right. We still treat them the same as if they're the clients that give us a pat on the back. And another moment that I was really happy with her, like really proud of her, you know, we put, my business partner and I, Landy, we put Liz in Tom Ferry training, which is like the best guy in real estate, right?
Okay.
We went on this $1 million listing, and a lot of the times I would talk, and I'm a closer, I'm good at what I do. And what I mean by that is like just knowing who I am and getting my message across on transparency, what I bring to the table, et cetera. But she would listen a lot and then just give like little points. When we went on this $1 million listing, she had been through like some self-development. And I stepped back and I let her take the mic, so to speak. And when she started speaking on why she, you know, what she brings to the table, et cetera, I'm like, damn, I'll sign the paperwork right now. Like, yo, this chick is on fire.
Nice.
When we left there, I felt like, now we both like hip hop. We're from the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like well, I'll put it this way. She was Jada and I'm Styles.
Wow.
And we went
Jada's
back and
the best
forth,
one.
right?
Yeah.
Because even on the interview today, I thought she sounded really polished. I thought she sounded, that's why I was being quiet. I'm like, just let her keep speaking. She sounds, I'm rough around the edges. You know what I mean? Like, she's very polished, intelligent, smart, and I love you, you know? Like, I'm really proud of you.
Cool, man.
Yeah,
that
me
is
too.
so freaking cool. I mean, you kind of complement each other very well.
I was gonna say we're like totally yin and yang, right? We're two different people, two different personalities. And I think that's what works well in our business. So when we go to these appointments together, either it's going to be me take the lead or him take the lead, depending on who we're meeting with and what kind of personality they have. Because I come from more of a softer, empathetic kind of approach, where Harry is more type A, right? Where some people, maybe that's what they want. Somebody who is aggressive,
well, the thing is, too,
bullshit.
my personality,
Hype.
my directness can be mistaken for arrogance
or aggressiveness.
or rude or aggressiveness. And the team aggressive thing, like, a lot of people don't know, like, I'm staying authentic to a degree to who I am. I was aggressive as a kid. I had the, now check this out. You don't know this. I had the most aggressive leukemia.
Whoa.
AML.
Oh, you said it was stage 4
AML.
too, right?
It's acute myelogenous. It's the most aggressive. It'll kill you in like 4 months.
Wow.
So like, and people think it's just aggressiveness, like, oh, I'm going to go beat you up. Aggressiveness is just like getting it done. Be aggressive. You got to be, in entrepreneurship, you have to be aggressive. You have to go after it. Lay it on the line. What's plan B? Fall back on your faith.
Yeah.
Right? That's what Denzel Washington said. I don't need a plan B. Plan B is falling back on my faith. I love that. I was all in. When I went into real estate, I was all in. And she was putting things on credit cards, not telling me. I didn't get...
I was literally going to debt, so like, just like, go.
Yeah, she's like,
go
it's gonna be
into
all
real
right.
estate. Everything will be fine. I got everything.
Yeah.
And she even pulled her 401k so I could do my first flip on a house.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. So she believed in me. And then 3 years later, she's tired of a job that she hates, where what bothered Liz most
Corporate
about
job,
that corporate job is if they didn't like someone, they made them feel like crap and tried to make them quit.
It's very
corporate
toxic. It's a
America.
very toxic and yeah, that's what it is. It's like you get like not picked on. It wasn't that I was getting picked on. There's just things that were going on there that was
let me
like
just stay on
very
track.
inappropriate,
Let me stay on
and
track
it
with this
was
point.
not okay.
So that was eating her soul up, right? Like that was bothering her at her core values. So when she came home the one day, she doesn't express herself enough, where I express myself a lot.
Gotcha. Yeah.
She comes home, starts crying. She's like, I hate my job. And I became a top producer at my agency, and I started a team. And then I didn't want the team because a lot of people think that real estate is easier. I just got into real estate, rolled the red carpet out, and it's like, no, get to this open house and go work. Like, I work 7 days a week. I'm still doing the same stuff I've been doing since day one. And I genuinely enjoy it. So when she was like, I hate my job, I'm like, well, come join me. I need loyalty and I need someone to bust her chops.
Gotcha.
I was harder on Liz than anyone that's been on my team.
Wow.
And that's not because I was being mean.
You see the greatness in her.
Not only that, I just feel like, and I hate saying this out loud, I have a complicated medical history. If something was to happen to me, I know that I put her through the ringer, that if she had to deal with anyone, she's got them. She's a bull.
Gotcha.
Because she had to deal with me. Like when she didn't close anything, you can't get your nails done, right? Like to a degree like that.
Like some boot camp style.
100%.
Yeah.
You can.
I was like,
If
damn.
you rob someone of that, she earned that. People could look at her and say Harry was already successful when she got in. Bullshit. She earned every bit of it. She worked harder than anyone on my team. She worked just as hard as me. That shirt and that business, everything that we do, she earned it. Nothing was given. As a matter of fact, I put her through harder ringers than anyone that's been on my team. Almost to the degree what I had to go through. I didn't have anyone. I had information being given by my mentor, Luis and Landy, but all my leads, I had to go out and hunt. So I did the same to her. So I could create a line. If she needs to go hunt, she's going to hunt. She's got to hunt. That's what it is. So like she earned every bit of it and then leaned into that where she became a broker. She's a broker.
Wow.
So that's the highest achievement. She could open her own office, but she likes that stuff. So I used to and that's where I learned with me, where I need to pull back, where I would say, I'm not into that stuff. I don't want to go mingle and have cocktails. I'm not into that shit. I want to stay home with my kids. I want to go speak at a rehab, go do my deals, provide good service. And that's it. I really would like to start speaking more to try to be of service to others and bring, the good news that God wants me to do. And I take that serious, like you were saying before. If you help enough of God's children, I believe this to my heart, my core. If you help enough of God's kids, God will make sure you're okay. Last year, I had those 2 surgeries. I still went to that rehab and spoke, and you could ask her.
Wow.
Zipped up on my stomach, everything. I still went there to speak. Because I believe if I continue to do that, God's going to take care of my sobriety. God's going to take care of my business. God's going to take care of my marriage, all of it. But I do, for the most part, I get in fear, I complain and stuff, but I'm a man of faith and I walk by faith. I don't need to know everything. And it's when I could get out of my way, right? Because I can be in the flesh and I could be this could happen, that could happen. But at my core, when stuff hits the fan and I'm tired of trying to run the show, I say, God, I know you got this. And I turn it over to him. And we pray every night together. That's another thing that's my favorite part of the day.
I love that, man. Wow. It's very, I'm enamored by everything I'm listening from both of you, because it's actually in real time. You guys here sitting with me now, I can see the fruits of the labor. Mm-hmm. I didn't know the in-depth stuff that you went through until you just kind of elaborated. But to see you guys here as successful as you are, knowing all these intricate stories behind the curtain that I wasn't aware of till now, it even gives me more respect for what you guys are doing as a family, as a business, as a couple, because a lot of people wouldn't survive, and you have this strength. You're kind of like Peter. Peter was one of, Jesus' 12 disciples, but he was also very aggressive. And, when they went to get Jesus after this guy, Judas ratted him out, the first thing Peter did was cut the ear of the guy off. And Jesus, yo, chill, yo.
That's my guy right there.
But Peter had so much love for Jesus, but he didn't know how to handle that anger. But his intention was right.
He's loyal.
But he was loyal. But in that moment, it shows you that it's okay to be flawed. But I think this has been the theme of the podcast is accountability. Mm-hmm. Hold yourself accountable to the dumb stuff that you've done. Even though it came from good intentions, understand, I shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? And that's, I just think about that because, Jesus, yo, chill, bro. Put this ear back on. Yeah. You can't be doing that. But it was coming from a place of protection. And you see
the motives were good.
And you are the iron fist. 100%. She's the velvet glove. You guys together are like Voltron. You know what I mean? So, and I think any relationship, whether it's marriage or business or personal, whatever, there has to be a yin and yang. There can't be 2 of the same.
No.
There has to be one that complements the other. It's funny because she's like the sociable one when you guys are out there. You're more like, I want to chill back late. With me and my wife, it's like when we go out to dinner, I got to talk and she's the one that's kind of just in the background, and then she'll add her little 2 cents. But if we were both talkers, it's hard. So you guys, I think, have found this beautiful balance in life, and it has catapulted you into a whole nother strategy.
Well, that's what we talk about is that my last name is Paige, right? So take a page out of my book, I'll take a page out of your book, and it balances each other out. Sometimes I need to take Liz's side. So even when I started dating her, I told my brother, who works a really good program as a man of faith, I was like, she's too nice. She's kind of a pushover. She's a little extra thick and yada, 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 all this different stuff. And my brother's he's one of those guys that so for example, if I talk to someone I grew up with, hey, Liz is giving me a hard time. Yo, you should go to the go-go bar. You should, you deserve that, bro. She's been giving you a hard time. Those aren't the type of guys that hang around.
Those are not fellowship.
My brother may say something like, what are you doing to help her? Are you doing the dishes? Are you helping her with laundry? You telling her she look beautiful each day? Things like that. So my brother's like, didn't you say you prayed to God for put the right woman in your life? And then you just said she's kind and caring, and you calling her a pushover. Aren't those the things that we're trying to work for in our life with our spirituality, to pack into the stream of life and to be kind and caring, etc.? And I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Slappies.
But but that's my old thinking, right? I need people to remind me that I'm trying to grow and look at things from a different perspective. Everything's usually just a perspective shift, right? Mm-hmm. We can all complain about, there's that story, right? The guy complained about his sneakers till he met a man with no feet. Mm-hmm. So I just didn't know. It was the best thing that ever happened. Why didn't relationships work out in the past? Because I always had the girl with her boobs and her butt out. But then, you know, and I really wasn't big on relationships. I like to do whatever I wanted, but I really wanted a relationship. He's like, didn't you say she reminds you of mommy? The way, like, her soul and stuff? You know, it's been the best relationship I ever been on. Like, I remember going to Mexico with my brother, and she's like, go have fun. Where my past relationship, who the hell are you going with? You ain't going without me, yada, yada. Like, we didn't have that. We had trust. Like, you know, there's respect for each other.
I mean, women are very, and you could chime in on this. I think they're very artistic as far as, you know, and people make fun of it, right? In the social setting, like, oh, you're whipped or you're this. I don't think that. I think women have this ability, this God-given ability to take a man that has so much potential and mold him and kind of make him understand, look, this is what you can be, but you need to change A, B, and C. I just rhymed. And
about time you dropped the bar.
And this is who you could be, but first you got to go through A, B, and C. So then, you know, you can get to your full potential. And I think every man that is on a mission and wants to be great at something needs a woman by his side that's just as strong as him to carry him through all these levels of, you know, difficult situations that are going to happen. I said this on another podcast. You know, everybody that you see that's successful in life always has that strong woman that they're married to. And the guys that are single, businesses not going as well because men need some type of direction. And that's where a good woman comes in and kind of gives you that reassurance and puts you on that path because she's your helper. That's the whole point behind this. So it's a beautiful thing to see how you were first so like, whoa, no. I don't know if I want to, you know, I want to still do what I want to do. And God was tugging at your heart and saying, nope, Harry, this is exactly where you need to be at. Embrace this and look how much you have come since you met this woman.
100%. Paul's on the come to. But you know, for me, it was the support, the unconditional support. Like believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. My first year, I made, I think, maybe $16,000 in real estate, working 7 days a week. Our daughter was born. She got pregnant as I started entrepreneurship, started real estate. And so the first year, I got to produce, right? I got to make money. And I wasn't making money. And I was going to my broker, Luis, like, yo, I don't have money. Like, I got to go back to driving a truck. Like, I got a baby on the way. And she kept saying, no, you're going to work out. You're going to work out. And I just kept trusting that process. The crazy part is Luis told me, like, when entrepreneurs, like a plane on a runway, right? Like your first year, it's on the runway. All of a sudden after that first year, if you're 7 days a week plugged in on your grind, it starts to take off. My 13th month at that brokerage, I closed 13 deals and set the record for the most deals in 1 month. Wow. No, pardon me. I think it was 8. It was 8. Rigorous honesty. Wow. It was 8.
So it was 8.
And then it started to take off, and then I just kept hustling, kept going. On my first 2 years in real estate, you could ask Liz, I didn't see our daughter Olivia. I wasn't home.
You sacrificed a lot of
time.
He
did real estate, like, oh, he's chilling, hanging out on his phone. Yeah. I didn't come home and see my daughter. I gave her kisses goodnight when she was sleeping. I was doing these meetups, all this different stuff I didn't want to do. Watch people drink. I don't drink. Talk to people I don't want to talk to. I don't do that anymore because I'm just really about like being with the client. Like, I really don't even do stuff like this, but I genuinely like your podcast because I'm just in my lane, just hustling. Yeah. I'm happy. I'm grateful. I don't need to be a multi-millionaire or none of that. Like, I have what I need. I have food on the table. My family's healthy. I'm comfortable. Like, I'm good. You know, like, I'm not one of those people that, like, some of these motivational speakers, go more, go this. As long as I could breathe and I could produce, I go to Aruba, I'm chilling, bro.
Same here.
Like, there's that story, and just let me know, are we good on time?
Yeah, we're good.
There's a story of a white guy. Let's just say, for example, he's in Peru, right? Sees a guy coming from fishing. He's got a couple of fish, right? He goes, oh, cool. You got a lot of fish. He's like, you could buy a boat. You know, you could open up a business, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, okay, then. He's like, well, then you get more boats. And then you can, pardon me, let me back up. The guy comes out and the white guy goes, trying to remember this because it's really good stuff. He was like, oh, that's what he is. So the guy's fishing, right? Comes out with the fish, and he goes, what are you going to do the rest of the day? He goes, well, I'm gonna go have lunch with my wife, take a nap, and then I'm gonna go out to a bar. I'm gonna play the guitar, sing with my friends, go to sleep, and do the same thing tomorrow. The white guy goes, well, you could buy a boat and get more fish and make more money. And he's like, and then? He's like, then you could buy more boats, and then you can open a business. And he said, and then? And then maybe when you have enough boats and your business is good enough, you could grab some fish, go have lunch with your wife, play guitar with your friends, and have a good life. The guy looked at him puzzled. I already have that. There's always like, I think like that more. And I've learned like there's never be enough.
Never be enough.
I'm happy and grateful for what I have today and appreciate it. Like genuinely what I have, like simple things.
And the Bible talks about that. It says, you want to pray for overabundance, but you don't want to, be in love with money.
Right.
There's a big difference. Like
Right.
I want to go on vacation, but I will never do something wrong in a business sense where it's like I'm taking 5,000 more than I'm deserving of.
You'll never be fulfilled if you chase money. And I did this. I had more money in the bank account than I thought possible. I woke up one day. I don't know if you got into real estate yet. We were in Linden. We still lived in Linden. I felt like someone pulled the plug out my back. I was cooked. Like I had no energy. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I was miserable.
Burnout.
Money became like the dominating
That was
force of
your master,
everything,
yeah.
right? And then I had to recalibrate and learn, I was hustling and not spending time with my kids or anything like that. Work, great. But I wasn't enjoying life. And understand today, like I don't know what balance is, but I feel like when you have certain things going on, what would God want me to do in this situation? Like just ask yourself that. What would God have you do? Go chase the bag or push it off till tomorrow, possibly lose it, but go spend time with your kid at their school for whatever they're
What's
doing.
more fulfilling?
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing, you will never fill yourself with money ever. Like you can't, what Denzel Washington, you can't take it to the grave. The Egyptians tried and they got robbed.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can't take that stuff to the grave. What I can take to the grave is being a good father, being a good son, being a good brother, made myself available to my kids. I'm involved in my kids' sports. Our son wrestled football. My other daughter is in Golden Gloves. She kind of pulled back. I'm hoping she pulls forward again on that. Our daughter Olivia is on swim. She just made the swim team. They're going to announce it at the end of the month.
Nice.
Like those are the things that set me on fire. Hanging out with friends, having good conversations. Those are the things that are true wealth. That's why Bob Marley said on that one interview, the guy was like, let's talk about your richness. He's like, the richness you speak of, I don't know what you mean. He said, I don't have that type of richness. He's got family. He's got love. That's the stuff. That for me. You know what I mean? And I'm not telling anyone what to do. That's me, bro. And some of the stuff that I've learned, but we talked about self-awareness and self-growth. Some of the stuff I have to unlearn that I've learned by society. I never wanted to follow society. I never wanted to be in the box. And that's not a bad thing. I wanted to be myself authentically. And there was stuff that I had to unlearn. Like that, hustling. You see it in the videos on social media and all of that. Be a hustler, be this. It's all bullshit.
It is.
I just want to be a good family man, a good friend, make some money for my family. And whatever the outcome is after that, I'm cool with, because that's what God wanted me to do. Just be useful, right? Every day I wake up, God, show me how I can be useful to you. Every single day. And I fail a lot. I tell a lot of people, go fuck yourself. But that's not my motive. My motive is to try to be a good human being. But it takes time. And if I continue on the path that I'm on, I think one day I could be like my father. I'm just not there yet. And my mother. My mother is a great person.
Listen, I think you're at the awareness part. Now it's like I told you earlier, leading into the hard stuff. Like the stuff that you're never wrong for doing the right thing. Start doing more of the right thing, and little by little, this path will kind of open up in your mind. That's going to get you a little bit further you're already evolving as it is. But what I mean is, like, I live off this saying, 1% better every day. Mm-hmm. Every day, 1%. That doesn't mean
progressive overload, baby.
But sometimes I'll wake up on a day and I'll lose 3%. Mm-hmm. So it's like the stock market. And I got to look at okay, we lost a couple today. We're going to do better tomorrow. That doesn't mean that if I had and for me, it was more of a weight. I struggled with weight my whole life. Oh, I had a bad day. A client pissed me off. Let me go have a Big Mac. Nope. Client upset me, pissed me off. Let me go watch a movie. Let me go for a jog when I get home. Let me just decompress, do something good for myself, listen to a motivational speaker. So just kind of pivoting from what your old self would want you to do and lean into something that's going to give you some type of understanding of, I'm on the right track. I'm not perfect, but I'll do better the next time I'm given an opportunity. And
that's the same thing we do with our marriage. Like there's some days I only got, 40%. She's got to have 60.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And I saw this one old biker guy. He was on social media or whatever. It was a jewel. He was like, he was rough around the edges, leather on and everything. He was like, I wake up and honey, I got 30%. You got 70 today. And, you know, like, he sounded funny, but it's true.
It's true.
Like, babe, I got 20%. I'm off today. I would really appreciate if you could bring 80 today. Or her vice versa. Do you know the biggest reason why people separate?
Finances.
Nope.
Communication.
They expect you to know because you've been with me for so long. You should know what I want. It's communication.
You got to talk out.
100%. Just be real with where you're at. But if you don't have self-awareness, you can't even express what's going on. That's why I was telling her, you got to continue to work on yourself and take inventory and learn of the stuff we were talking about before, the inner child, all that different stuff, therapy, et cetera, whatever you need to find out your triggers and all this different stuff, the stuff that you need, communicate. Like, if I'm not being affectionate enough, say it. Don't assume that I should be doing that. Hey, I'm not getting enough affection from you. Get over here and let me give you a big hug and hold the person. Like, you got to just express it. A lot of relationships, including myself, I always thought, like, well, you know me for so long, you should know that I like a card on certain moments, or that I like my steak medium rare. Whatever it is, just say it. It's communication. It's the ego and pride, right? Easing God out. Like, just ask for it and you'll receive.
And I think that's the foundation of a good relationship is being honest and upfront. That doesn't mean everything's perfect. You're still going to have your trials and tribulations, but you lean onto like that core value. Well, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I learned recently that like healthy people ask for what they want and need. You shouldn't expect that. So if I need something from him, I need to tell him that.
Yes.
Instead of me assuming he's been with me for 10, 11 years, he should know me already.
You know what an expectation is?
What's that?
It's just, it's a resentment in the making. You have an expectation. It's not going to be met because you think they should be, you know, this psychic. It doesn't get met. Now you got a resentment. But who really set the resentment in play? You did.
Yeah, and it's a projection that you build.
100%.
And that's why, and again, it's my listeners that hear me all the time, I say this all the time, the squeakiest wheel gets the most grease.
He says that all the time.
I say the oil.
He says the
I say the oil. I say the oil, though.
Gets the oil, whatever.
But it's the same thing, though, right?
Super pause.
But it's so true. And you can take that example and compare it to anything in life. You want more sales? Squeakiest wheel gets the most grease.
100%.
You know, you want to, have more date nights? Squeakiest wheel gets the most grease.
I told my wife, I've always been the kid in class that will raise his hand if I don't understand something. And I know a lot of people look either that's stupid, or I've had a lot of people come up to me after class, especially in college. I went to college for a little bit. Say to me, I'm so glad you asked that question because I thought, people would think I was stupid. I don't care.
No.
I want to know.
You want to be vulnerable.
And even if I don't get it, Lou, I'm like, can you explain that again? It's not clicking for me.
Yeah.
I don't care. I want to know. Yeah, and I want to know. I don't want to. Stupid is not asking the question or understanding. Like, I grew up with kids that were either 5%ers, God body, right? Or Latin Kings. Yeah. But they were all, what I liked about the kids I hung around, they were all trying to learn and become sharp. It was cool to be smart. Like where I see nowadays, it's cool to be dumb.
Yeah. There's no direction.
You had to be on point.
You had to be on point, yeah.
I love that era, what I grew up in.
Wow, man, you guys have given me a ride over here, man. Holy God. I honestly know, like, I was expecting something amazing, but after getting deep into conversation with you guys, like I told you earlier, there's a more newfound respect for what you guys do. And I think your story needs to be told because a lot of people have, like you said, no direction in life today. And everybody, it's so cool to be an entrepreneur. It's so cool to have your own business. But no one talks about the Kobe Bryant 100 reps in the gym.
Exactly.
You know, and that's something that I think you guys like exemplify to a T. Like, listen, yeah, we got family, we got a business, we got this, we go to Aruba, but I made 16 grand one year and I didn't see my wife a lot. She couldn't get her nails done. I saw my kids at night. I had to do this and that. Those are the stories that I think can change people. And I think you guys have come a long way from that. And it's very powerful. Like, you guys have left me, like, I want to do more now. You know what I mean? So,
well, you got the shirt to do it.
Oh, yeah. No, we're rocking this all day.
But you see where that comes from? Higher power plus a positive mindset equals success.
Yeah.
That was my thing. Even when I had leukemia, like, I never accepted death. I plugged into God. I ate when things tasted like metal. I always protected my mindset and just built like a fence around my brain. Like, people start talking negative while they're get out of the room, you know, or nurses didn't know what they're doing. They're hooking up the wrong IV. You're fired. You know, like people are like, yo, this guy's crazy as hell. I call the doctor up 3 a.m. Yo, I just fired the head nurse. You need to get someone else in here. But I was proactive and I was just like smart about it. Like, just like no one's going to care for you more than you. And your best investment is yourself. Invest in yourself, man. You're worth it.
Well said, man. Wow. Mm-hmm. I have some mastermind questions for you guys before we wrap up.
Yeah.
These are quick.
I feel like I didn't shut up. My bad if I
No, this is amazing.
That caffeine, that cold brew is strong, bro.
I had the same one before we stopped
Holy
in. Yeah.
smokes.
So quick mastermind question. I'll ask the question. You guys can both answer. If it doesn't apply, you don't have to answer. Quick thoughts to have the crowd get to know you better. And if there's a story attached to it, feel free to share it.
Cool.
What book have you read that inspired you the most? Anybody can answer.
For me, it would be the big book, Recovery. Yeah.
Changed your whole life.
Changed my entire life. It's my foundation to everything. There's just so much in there that transformed my life. I could read it and still learn something new every single day, or see I'll be in a different area of growth and perceive something different. That, like I said, when that one guy planted that seed of you're going to have to hug that kid, Harry, I'm like, what's this guy talking about? Then 5 years later, I understood exactly what he was talking about because that kid wouldn't chill out.
Right.
There's always something I can learn from the big book.
And excuse my ignorance, the big book is a book they give in rehab or?
No. It's a part of recovery. I'm not going to mention the name. I know they do a lot of that stuff. We all know what they're called. They have certain names, but you're not supposed to mention that on. I could talk about recovery.
Got it.
But I'm actually in the fellowship and follow the traditions. And there's traditions in play that I'm just not allowed to announce on stuff like this. I'll tell you afterwards, though.
Word. Okay.
But it's not my position to speak on it.
No, all good.
I'm not a big reader.
That's all good.
I'll be honest. I have like the worst attention span. But I would say a book that I did read from start to finish that I remember is The Secret.
The Secret.
I do believe in like speaking positively, putting good things out there. Like it will gift you if you say good things about yourself or just put good things out there. We do it all the time. He'll say something or I'll say something and he'll be like, don't even say that out loud. Good
Life
things are
and death
coming.
is in the tongue.
Yeah.
Word. Yep. And the devil can hear. Only God knows your heart, but the devil can hear it coming out of your mouth.
Yep.
What person in your life has brought you the most influence?
You go first.
For me, like definitely Harry has brought me the most influence. Nice. I know it's like cliche, but he has brought a lot of awareness to me. Encouraged me to better myself, to look within, learn about different things, and just be very open-minded about different things. So I'm grateful for that because it's helped me just see life in a different way.
Gotcha. Harry?
My younger brother. He got sober first and just completely transformed. There's another guy you should have on here. He's a great guy. He's my younger brother, but, you know, just super mature, smart, very calculated, you know, on like even how he dissected like what I was saying about Liz. Mm-hmm. Like just very, very
methodical,
intelligent, intellectual thinking, man.
Dope, man. What keeps you guys driven in life?
That's easy. Family.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
I agree.
That's an easy one too. Yeah. A lot of people say family.
Yeah.
That one.
Always.
Family. Gotcha. All right, here's a tough one. What's your lightest and darkest moment in life?
My darkest moment was I tried to kill myself after my brother died.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
I put my hands on my father. I slammed him. It was like 7 a.m. I was out drinking all night. I wanted to die because I just couldn't deal with my brother's death. Like I had to go identify him, right? And like he looked like he was sleeping on the couch. And then my mother came and started putting her fingers through his head and talking to him like a baby because that's her child. That was the most disturbing thing I've seen in my life. I wanted to die. I took over 30 sticks of Xanax. Can't tell you how many blues and perks I took. Drank a whole bottle of Jameson, a whole bunch of other stuff.
Oh my God.
And then I slept in a hospital for like 3 days in and out of it. And on suicide watch, I got my brother trading Coke for Oxycontins so I can, take pain pills while I'm on suicide watch because I'm bored.
God, man, I'm sorry. What was the mindset that I mean, obviously,
fuck life.
Yeah, man.
Straight up. Like I was the closest to the devil than I've ever been in my entire life, man. I was doing his work. Like I just thought that's what happens to people. They drink and they die and that's it. But like when my brother died, that crushed me, man. And we fought a lot because I was worried about the drugs he was doing, that he would die one day. And as a kid, I used to watch him come home 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. I'm like, this guy's going to die. I had vivid dreams as a kid I forgot about. And then eventually he did die. Damn. On New Year's Eve, 2006. And that's the brother that gave me his stem cells that saved my life.
Wow.
So technically our daughter together and Ryan, they're 3 people. They're my brother, myself, and the mothers of the children.
He still lives
My
today,
blood type
too.
changed to A negative to A positive.
Wow, man.
That was the darkest point in my life. I tried to kill myself and I wanted to die until I got sober. That's when things started to change. That was the darkest. And then the lightest is honestly for me, like it started with rehab. Like people have this mistaken thing about rehab, like it's a punishment or something. It was the best thing, man. I enjoyed myself. I got to play basketball again. I forgot how much I like sports. I like basketball. We were playing softball. I was hitting the ball like above trees, cracking them.
Reconnection.
Yeah, man. I'm a
life.
physical guy. I love those things. I used to rollerblade, skateboard, BMX as a kid. All of that stuff was corny by 9th grade. That's whack. I'm a grown man, bro. That was my mentality, the product of my environment. But in rehab, I got back in those things. We were playing Frisbee cans, horseshoes, started going to the weights. And that was just, I'm like, yo, I went there for my daughter, but now I want it for me. And then the light just kept going up and up. Then I met Liz afterwards. Then, I lost my job. And then, that was the best thing that ever happened, losing that truck driving job. Mm-hmm. And then got into real estate. So like, yeah, it was like, I guess the darkest was when I was active in alcohol and drugs, because nothing could come from that for me. That's why like I go to rehabs and people are like, yo, I can't believe so-and-so died, and they're drinking a beer outside the wake. I don't ever say this out loud, but I look at him like, bro, are you kidding me? He was drinking and doing drugs. I can't believe it didn't happen sooner.
Ignorance.
What you think, he got a long life? Yeah. But I don't say those things. But that's real. That's common sense. But common sense isn't common when you're active and you're messed up in your head.
Resolve and redemption. I think,
pour out some liquor, drink some more liquor. You're drinking what just killed the person. That makes sense.
But as I told you, it all comes back to ignorance and accountability.
Yeah.
If you're ignorant enough to not hold yourself accountable, eventually you will kill yourself.
Yeah.
That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But thankful that you got out of that. And you've seen the light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Liz, lightest and darkest?
So my darkest, I have 2 because I feel like they're both very equal. I can't say one was worse than the other. It was just both really bad experiences. So my first one is when I was 18, I was pregnant, and I carried until 26 weeks, and I lost the baby through a blood clot in the umbilical cord.
Sorry.
So, it was very sad.
Right.
And what was hard about that, I think it was the experience after, is you have to basically get induced and give birth and have a funeral, So it wasn't as simple as a miscarriage and you can go to get a DNC. So I had to go through all that process. So that was really difficult. So that was very traumatic experience then. And I think like at 18, that's like,
no, you're still a baby.
You're still young.
Oh my God.
Having to go through that. And then my brother, finding out he has cancer and him being gone 3 months later. It was just so quick that
it was instantaneous.
It wasn't like he was sick for a year or 2 years. It was 3 months. We lost him. And just to see that, that was a lot to watch.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, that was a lot to watch. Yeah. So that was hard. And as far as light, I would say it was probably when like my son was born. Again, I was in, a relationship that I was being very delusional about it. And when I found out I was pregnant, again, I was so excited because I had just had that loss and I was pregnant again. And then to find out that his dad was cheating and, had someone else pregnant. And
oh my God,
that was brutal at that time, to kind of have that whole, together. But I think like having Julian come at that time helped me get out of my head because I was able to take the focus off everything else. And it was a little human that I had to take care of and
It
be
was
there
your blessing.
for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It made you a strong woman too, and a strong mother.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that. Wow. Last question, guys, before I get you out of here. This one always stumps everybody. So if you need some minutes to think about it, it's okay. What is the last thing you purchased that has changed your life?
That's easy for us. House.
You agree?
Passive income.
Yeah. Real estate.
Yeah.
Real estate, right? You
Investments.
Want
Yeah.
blanket as a real estate in whole. Like
100%.
real estate has changed your life.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the gifts, not just,
This kid didn't stump us, babe.
No, it stumped me for a second. I was thinking about it, but then when you said house, I was like, oh yeah, you're right.
It's no brainer for me.
That gets, I mean, the number one answer for men is a wedding ring. When I purchased the wedding ring for my wife. I'm not trying to put you on the hot seat.
I don't even think that, like, yeah, I can see that too.
The only
Sorry.
reason I wouldn't say that, and she can solidify to this, is like, I didn't even want to get married. I felt like that's paperwork. Like I was already married in my head. Like that's another thing by society.
Yeah,
and
it has to be documented, and it's a thing.
Yeah, man,
I get
like
it.
that. Come on, bro.
We
Like,
didn't pressure each other for marriage. It wasn't, I don't
that
know.
love is deeper than a ring, man. It's the connection between each other more than a ring. But I gave her that, followed that stupid ass thing, but I follow. Let me take that back. It wasn't stupid to her, so it was important to me.
It's also.
I just don't like this stuff that comes with it because then the government wants part of your money and all that stuff.
There's also tax
Less
breaks.
government,
There's
bro.
also tax breaks.
Yeah. You gotta weigh out the pros and cons.
Yeah,
Depending on your income and how you.
No, I get it. Man. Even with me, it was the health insurance. I was entrepreneur. I had no health insurance. My wife has an amazing health insurance plan. So
insurance
again,
is
everything it's super expensive. So again, there's negatives and positives to it. But at the end of the day, you guys are married. You're happy. Who cares if it's signed on a paper?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
If we could have had it our way, we would have had a small wedding, bro. But we ended up changing that because her father got sick. Then my dad had a health issue, which her father just passed away last year too. We had the death of her father, multiple surgeries, and I lost my real estate mentor, Tom, who died at 89. Jesus. And the crazy part about him, Lou, old school dude like my dad, I didn't find this until after he passed. He lost 2 boys or 3? 3 sons,
I think
right?
it was 3.
3 sons. Never told me, bro. Wow. Like, I don't pry for information, but I'm like, wow, man. Tom was like he coached me on dialogue. Changed my whole business. Damn. I have to throw him out there. Like that was another guy that changed our life too.
Yeah.
Between Lewis, Landy, and Tom, and then us supporting each other is, I didn't reinvent the wheel. I followed it, man. And I just kept working on myself. Grateful for all of them.
Guys, what a beautiful story, man. What a journey you guys took me on the last hour and a half, man. Like, I
send you a bill in the mail.
Nah, dude. from honestly, like, to see it from loss to struggle to hustle to redemption.
Man, you good with words, bro.
It's just
you in your zone. No, for real. I want to give you your flowers now.
Thank you, man.
You're very good at listening and then dissecting what you got from it and articulating it. Luis, you're excellent at it. That's why I like your podcast. You really listen, man. You can't do that without listening, bro.
Thank you, man. And I it's something that's a worked art. And the one thing I give my wife a lot of credit for this because she said, babe, you can always veer off. But ever since you've been doing the podcast, you just have been, because, you talk to your wife, we'll do our walks in the morning with my dog and she'll ramble about something. And did you hear what I just said? And it's like verbatim. Yeah, so you said that you had to be at ShopRite at 8 o'clock because the cakes were not ready till then to bring it to the job. So, and she's like, oh my God, you do listen now. I said, yeah, but it's an art of, the most expensive thing you pay for is somebody's respect when you're listening to them. So I always make sure, no matter what, and I've had episodes that, this was a good one. I was excited to meet you guys, but there's some that it's like, oh, this was amazing, this was okay. But still, no matter how good or bad something is, I owe you that respect to pay attention to you. And I try to find my inspiration through the guests that come on here, and you guys have inspired me. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate that, man, because I do try to really framework
Check yourself. You don't try, you do. You
do.
honestly do, man. You're not trying.
I do framework something for the listener to listen and really have an appreciation for what it is you guys are doing. So again, man, I accept your compliment. I appreciate it. Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. Well, before you get out of here, you guys have the floor. You can look at that camera. You can look at that camera. Tell everybody where they can find you, your real estate gig, and what you got going on with real estate and all the business that comes with that.
So I'm Harry Paige, the most aggressive real estate agent. You can find me, in Instagram, Harry Paige. You'll see most aggressive realtor, hope for the hopeless. The one's the real estate page. The other is a motivational page. We'd love to have some new followers to bring some value, make some new connections. Liz?
Yeah, no, same. We're Instagram, Facebook. You can find us on there and follow us and see, everything we do like on a daily basis. Our phone number's on there. We also have our website, team-aggressive.com. So you can go on there and check out, all of our stuff.
Amazing, man. Guys.
Can I leave you with one last quote?
Please do so.
All right. So can I give the final words?
Yeah. Well, you have the final words and I do my outro, but you're good with the final words.
He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right.
Can you expound on that?
Do you want me to explain what that means?
Yeah.
Sure. The person that says he can't. He already said he can't. The person who says he can. So your words become reality. So that's Confucius. He who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. I just choose to say I can today. So you have to be very careful. I believe in life and death in the tongue. And I say that to her all the time. Like when a deal dies, we got better ones coming. I don't have them every day that I'm like that.
Yeah,
but for the most part, my core value, I do believe in like he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right. It's what you decide. It's up to you. Just like you did that word, I checked you. You said, I try. Try sitting on the couch. You're sitting in the chair doing the interview. You just broke it down. You're doing. Watch your words.
I need to take stock in that.
100% every single day.
And and last thing, right? Because I was just having a conversation with my wife about this. I said, babe, I think me doing therapy for 5-6 years, I'm thankful. I still go to therapy. I go to therapy every Tuesday.
Thank you, Alan.
But I said, I think I'm becoming softer because that ego, I don't really use it as much as I should. And I know I should, but in this case right now, this is me just trying to say thank you to you and your wife, hat in hand. So that's why instead of me saying I'm trying, because it's not really an intention of me trying to boast that I'm this person. No, hat in hand, thank you. And I appreciate your comment. I'm trying to do my best, but correction, I am doing my best.
Damn right.
Because if I was trying, you wouldn't recognize it. If I was doing, you already did. So,
boom. Funk flex, drop some bombs. Finito.
But again, thank you, man. Thank you both for coming on the platform and sharing your story. And I think this one here is going to definitely resonate with somebody, man.
Awesome.
So guys, again, I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Guys, that is a wrap on episode 48 of I'm an Artist, Not a Salesman podcast. If this podcast inspired or moved you in any way, please subscribe to our Apple, Spotify, and YouTube platforms by typing in Luis Guzman, I'm an artist, not a salesman, and clicking that subscribe button. Please make sure to follow my Instagram handle at I'm an artist, not a salesman for further content and updates. I am thankful for every listener. I pray you have a blessed one, not a stressed one. Peace.
I need you by my side.